guys, welcome back to Harry Makes It Up. I hope you guys are all doing really well. I am fast in the thick of it with award season and launching my new course, Next Level. More on that later. So today I wanted to talk about using less but getting more out of your makeup, because you may remember a little while ago, I think it may have been last year, I did a Capsule makeup challenge over on YouTube. I've been doing it again for the month of January because I knew January is one of my busiest months, so I wanted to simplify. I wanted to have makeup in a small bag. In fact, it all fits in one of those Glossier pouches, just ready to go. Didn't want to have to think about what I was going to do, but I also wanted something that would make me be creative as I got bored. So I'm doing the Capsule makeup challenge again, and I thought in this video I would show you the 10 products I chose. And let's make a look of it, because I think if you haven't tried this before, even if you only did it for 10 days, it also helps you see what you actually really want or need in your makeup. So I think the whole idea of like a capsule system is great because it gives you the information you need in terms of what's missing. So in terms of what you do buy, you kind of know how to choose products more wisely. So without further ado, the products I have, and the only rules I said were that skincare and brushes, tools don't count. So for my base, now I'm a nerd, we all know this, I have decanted it into a smaller one so it already fits into my pouch. I went for the Pat McGrath foundation just because you guys know I love it and I felt I could do a lot with it. I've just realised I've forgotten my concealer actually. So the concealer I meant to be using is the Synchro Skin by Shiseido, but for whatever reason, this is in my bag today, so I must have packed the wrong thing. This is the Revolution Concealer and Hydrate, so a concealer of your choice. I did go for a powder, which I don't think I did in the last time I did the challenge, but I remember thinking I really needed a powder. So I've gone for the Hourglass Translucent, the Veil one. I went for Nude Sticks, the Nudies, so the all over colour from the Bronze collection in Sun Kiss, because as you can see, this is just one of those colours that kind of goes with absolutely everything. I can use it for eyes, I can use it for lips, I can use it for cheeks. It's just really multi-purpose. Then for brows, I went for the M Cosmetics. You guys know I love this brow cream. And then what else have I not mentioned? Eyeshadows. So many of you guys were like, Harry, use a massive Pat McGrath one, use a Natasha Denona. But in the end, I was like, I feel like I would just do a different eyeshadow every day. So to keep it interesting for me and for you guys, I went with this one from Fenty. This is one of the Snap Shadows. This is, which shade is it called? Deep Neutrals. Loving this because there's matte sand shimmers in there. We all know I love a rusty tone. That theme continues with the eye pencil I chose. This one's from NARS. Rather than go for a brown or a black, I thought it would give me more of a challenge going for a colourful pencil. So I went for the High Pigment Longwear Pencil by NARS in the shade Broadway, this really beautiful cranberry colour. Then this was the one where I was like, I could totally get away with something more interesting if I didn't choose this, but I just love the formula and I'm going to use it today. So this is from Bodyography. This is Smoky Topaz. I think they're called like it's like the pigments, but like in a liquid form, and I just love the finish of them. Good old Maybelline mascara. And then again, like kind of wild card, I felt like I needed something bright for a lip. So I went for Lisa Eldridge. This one is Velvet Morning. So that's my 10. I invite you guys to try it too. It's really good fun, and like I said, the challenge, it could be for 5 days, 10 days, whatever you choose. I kind of said to myself the aim was to do it throughout January. Definitely had a moment the other day where I was like, oh, new things, want to play with new things. So I'm trying my best to stay connected to my challenge, but let's dive in. So I'm going to prep my skin with a little bit of moisturiser off camera, and then we'll get going. I've got a blog post on, a highlight on my Instagram called My Kit, and if you want to see where I get all these, they're all linked in there. A brush I've been quite into at the minute is this one from Artis. I don't know what number it is, but really enjoying this actually for putting foundation on, because I feel like I can make a thick foundation very thin, or I can build the coverage to like a really nice custom level. And you can see with that kind of thin oil underneath, it just gives it a really nice bit of slip. I'm just going to smooth that all around my skin. I'm going to do my concealer afterwards, but I'm going to show you this eye product I'm obsessed with. It's from Bodyography, and you guys know I just love a liquid eyeshadow. I just think when I'm doing red carpet, if I don't have much time, I can create an eye look really quickly, get the skin on, get the base on while the hair artist is kind of doing his thing, and then just get this on really quickly. So this is the colour. Oh, it's just so good. It's like that kind of, there's a bit of red in there, but it's also almost like a neutral brown. So if you like cool tones as well, I feel like this kind of suits a lot of people. I'm going to start with a flat brush to apply and then buff with a MAC 217. And we're just going to go straight in. So you can see it just has that gorgeous finish. You can shear them out. So usually I start with kind of a layer all over the lid, quite messy. Make sure it's like at the roots of the lashes. Just patting that on, and then I'm going to take a MAC 217 and start to buff. And these dry down to a powder finish, so they're really long lasting. You can layer other eyeshadows on top of them, but I just think this is so, so nice. And it's just like the easiest product to buff. I think that's what I love most about it. So I'm just going back in, a little bit more pigment, just anywhere I feel like I want to add. So I'm going a little bit higher into the crease and then just buffing back in again. I'm going to take a little bit of that as well under my lashes. This is a Smashbox brush. Next, I'm going to take my NARS pencil, and this is the High Pigment Longwear pencil in Broadway, and this is this gorgeous cranberry colour. And I'm just going to go along the top to line my eyes, because I think brown and red is a really pretty combo. And I'm just leaning it into my lashes. Now, the only thing I will say about using a pencil is you might have to stop and sharpen it a couple of times. And then I'm starting to pull it out and the outer corner. And I'm going to keep going over the red because I want the red to start to get really vibrant. And then just with the edge of my nail, I'm just going to pull that flick out a little bit so it starts to get a bit more direction. And I'm also going to take that into the waterline. And I'm going to take that in the lower waterline too. I love it when you can really, really see the colour of a pencil as well in the waterline. And then I'm just starting to bring it over the waterline a little bit, so you see more of that red. And going a little bit underneath, just so it kind of starts to connect with where you flicked it out. I really do love brown and red together. I think they're just such a nice colour combo, and it feels within all the same colour families that I love on my eyes, so kind of rust colours, cranberries, warm browns, but I think it's just a nicer way to kind of frame your eyes going for a colour, and that was why I really wanted to make sure I didn't put a black or a brown kohl in my Capsule makeup products. But then obviously I did choose this palette, and I think if you have something with a matte dark shadow, and you can always use that wet as a liner, so that was one reason I went for this palette. So now I'm just going to take the lightest shade on a small Morphe brush, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that into the inner corner, just like a tiny, tiny bit. Just so it's like a really soft, it almost like gives it more that look of like when you have fire and there's like the kind of red part in the middle and then the yellow and the orange, and it kind of just, the colours start to break apart a bit. And then just with the edge of the brush, I'm just taking that kind of in that inner portion of the eye. It's like a semicircle, just there, to the point where then it starts to fade back into the brown, so it's just like that like tinge of colour. And then for mascara, good old Maybelline Colossal. I still love this mascara. The reason I like it so much is you can kind of do one coat and get like a normal lash look, but if you let it dry and then go back in with a second coat, which is what I'm going to do, you get a much more dramatic lash finish. Now I'm going to go in with concealer at this point. I'm loving this brush as well, guys. I've really fallen in love with Smashbox brushes. This one is called the Precise Highlighting, although I think it makes a really good shape for concealer. So we're just going to take a little bit of that under the eye and start to clean up. So I'm just going to go underneath and just gently use that. I'm going to take a bit of that on my nose as well, actually, because I have a few little kind of breakout scars. The top of the brush just kind of like buffs it really nicely, so if you need to like turn it over to get under the eye, I'm just going to take a little bit of excess off. It's really, really good for just kind of sculpting out an eye a little bit. It's very, very perfecting with a very small amount. I'm just going to go back to the brush that I had the shadow from the Fenty Beauty. In fact, I think I'm going to dip into the slightly deeper rich brown on that same brush, just to kind of make it look a little bit softer now that we've done the concealer. And it'll just make it a bit more smoky underneath as well. And it just really makes the red pop. Okay, so the eye's looking nice and sculpted. I want a nice fluffy brow with not too much going on, which is why, where have I put it? My Cosmetics brow cream is perfect. I do just take a little bit off of the end, off on a tissue, And I'm just going to make my brows a little bit imperfect because I feel like the eye is quite kind of sculpted looking. And what I do like to do is kind of back comb my hairs just on the outer portion of my brow because I naturally don't have a lot of hair there. So I'm just going to kind of focus in any sparse areas, just back combing, and then I'll go in and start kind of pushing the product through and giving a bit more shape. And you'll find as the brow starts to dry, it will, as you go back in, you'll kind of start to darken the brows a little bit as well. So I feel like as they start to dry, I can then start to go back in and add like another layer if my brows need it. Amazing. So I'm just going to add a little bit more back comb there and then go over again. You can see you really start to build like a nice, much thicker brow than I have naturally. So I'm just going to take my Hourglass powder. I'm going to take a small fluffy brush. This is a Bobbi Brown one. And I'm just going to set just under my eyes, very, very small amount of powder, and a little bit around my nose because that's the only place I really want powder with this look. Just adding some mascara to the bottom lashes as well. So a good tip if you have quite an intense blush, which is what I chose for my challenge, is I'm going to take a bit of the foundation, the Pat McGrath one, and then I'm going to mix some of my blush on the back of my hand, like so. And I am going to, which brush am I going to use? I'm going to use the one that had my concealer on actually. I'm going to mix my concealer, like the tiniest bit of concealer, into that blush because then that changes the blush colour. You see it's just diluted it slightly. So now I can go in and it's like I've got a kind of custom blush, which I think just, again, you're getting kind of more out your makeup. I think that's the whole point of the Capsule makeup challenge. Love this brush. It just really glides across the skin. So I just want the blush, the tone, and a little something because the eye is so punchy that I don't want it to take away from the eye. So I want a really, really muted blush look. Also going to use that on my lip, that colour. I'm just going to, first of all, kind of put it on with the brush. And I'm doing it so it kind of goes over the lip, slightly blurry. So it doesn't look too polished. And then one dab of the nudies on top. Just going to work that in a little bit more. That's pretty much it, guys. Obviously I haven't used the lipstick. What else have I not used? Maybe it was just the lipstick I haven't used today. You could always go with your foundation brush if you want to just smooth any edges. But for me, I love this look, and I feel like the whole point of the Capsule makeup concept really is to kind of fall back in love with the makeup you already have. It makes it really fun. If you're on kind of no buy January, try not to buy any more makeup, then this challenge is really fun and really great. And there's definitely been days where I've been like, oh, I've got new things and I want to play with them. So it's been hard, but then I'm also very lucky that I get to play on other people's faces in my pro kit. So I think I'm okay in that respect. But it's also been nice getting out my comfort zone. I feel like picking a few colours that I know I love and then different formulas perhaps that what I would normally use. So it definitely makes it a little bit fun, helps you get out your comfort zone. So let me know if you guys are going to try this challenge. I will of course leave details to my new makeup artist course, which is called Level Up, in the description box below. Basically, I really wanted to create a course that I felt didn't exist. I wanted to kind of focus on the complexities of the business of makeup and really look at things from negotiating fees, how to go after the goals you set yourself, how to get clients, how to keep them more importantly, and just take your career to the next level. Because I think when I was starting out, social media wasn't what it is now. I didn't have that support network or guidance that for me I feel this course really gives. So I will leave details of that in the description box below if you want to check that out. I would love it if you guys subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you soon for videos. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.